Hey, hi everyone. My name is Santiago Ordonez, and today I would like to talk about an excellent book that I read, and I really like to recommend you and anyone who's interested in this social science course and also in human rights and how is being a child that he's growing in these kind of environments. Okay, in this occasion, I'm talking about the book. It's Trevor Nohan, Born a Crime, and let's start with title that is really interesting. And I watched some. I also watched some interviews about Trevor Nohan's life and he just remember and he started to explain the book with the title that it's born a crime, and it means his life because he was born in South Africa in apartheid era apartheid era situation. So in that case, in that time at that time. Being a child between if your mom was a South African black woman and your dad was any white man, like in this case it was Swiss man, he was his dad. So in that case, you couldn't even like belong or you couldn't even have your society because it was a crime. It couldn't happen these two mix between them. So that's why it's the title is Born a Crime, and I would really like to recommend this book because first of all it's not a episodic structure, so you can read one chapter and then you can read another. Of course it has some connection between those chapters. I could say that the main connection is it's kind of chronological lives. So he talks a little bit about how was raised or how was maybe better how was growing in this kind of environment. So he starts talking about some anecdotes in this South Africa apartheid era. So he starts to talk a little bit about how was his life when he was a child, and he wasn't able to go out to his home from his home because if the police saw him, they are gonna they could take it to him and go to an orphanage because it was just a crime at that time, right? Okay. Also, that it's very interesting about the book. Of course, if you don't know this man, Trevor Noah, before you didn't know, but he's a famous comedian. He makes a lot of things, and that's something beautiful. And I would say that something I really like from the book is that it's all about his stories, but also a little bit of comedy, a little bit of humor in his storytelling. And even if he was telling, for example, that he couldn't interact with other people, he couldn't talk very good with other people because his race. He just make some funny comments or any comedy storytelling that it's very interesting in that book. And also, this kind of humor it help to the readers to understand a little bit how deep are those problems, how deep are these society problems. In this case, of course, it was racial, but also in talking about social rights and specifically child rights. He couldn't even go to the school because his race, of course, and again because he didn't feel like that society is accepting him. So it was very hard. How is this cultural shock coming from me? Because Colombia, a little bit, I'll explain that it's a little bit mix between African, Spanish people, of course, they colonize out of South America, well, not Brazil, but yeah, most of South America, I would say. And it's a mix between everything. So in my culture, it's totally normal when you see a person who have a darker skin, and like me, well, I would say more tend to white and black, but whatever, like, it's totally normal for us. But at that time, in talking about the book and the story that the book is telling us, it's very interesting how it's connecting everything with these social problems and the cultural shocks that he has at that time. So yeah, I would like to take also one quote from the book that I didn't have any role model of people who look like me and came from where I came from. I could never be what I couldn't see. So in this case, it's of course when he was a child. That was his thinkings and at that time, and it's very hard because one of the child rights is having his own family or her own family, and of course his family was totally separate. He didn't meet his father because it was a crime, you know. So it was very hard for him, and that's also that something it's impact to the child's life and taking one of his child rights, of course. And also, I could say that this book really encouraged me to think deeper about how society and how cultural things impact in your life and also impacts in child rights humans. Because it's very serious when you see that one cultural thing, or at that time, one cultural conflict that it was between well, we'd say the white and black people, but it was also more deeper than that. That they couldn't even have normal life. I would say that a regular life, like if you wanna live in a specific place, they have to live in a specific place, and yeah, it was very hard at that time. And personally, I choose that book because it's something that catch my attention. Races, of course, it's a very serious problem. Great. Sorry, everyone. I just have to change my slide. But anyways, there's just some few things left that I would like to tell. Just that I really encourage to everyone, and I think this book encourage to readers to think deeper, to think critically, and about other ways that it's possible that just one problem, or well, in this case, many problems, races, the culture, this specific time that he was born, of course, and this very hard time. But anyways, there are many wars and many conflicts that it's still happening in this world, and I think this book just helps to see the ways in which identity is shaped by social and cultural force, and also in this case, like he couldn't meet his dad. In this case, the missing of the role, or he couldn't see what's the representation or what's the father role in this in his life. So he couldn't even play his role because he didn't know which culture is belong to him or which culture he should be part of him, right? And yeah, just in conclusion about the book, I say that it's very honestly you can learn a lot about the book and from the book, and all the even when I was reading, I just came to my mind some articles or some discussion that we have in class, and we say that these exactly child right is relating in this time. For example, the case that I told you, that he couldn't go out and play, and the right to play with other childs, also the right to have his own place, well, his own family, of course. So all these rights are violated in this case, but at the same time, because it was with this humor thing, with this comedy, that at the same time, like these bad things can be seen from another perspective, and it also can apply from this Okay, and I just described this book in that it is a thought-provoking book that offers a really unique perspective from not just exactly this specific issue that is happening, what's happening before in South Africa, but many other issues that is happening in different countries around the world, and even racism still present in some society. So that it can help to us and to everyone who open his mind and see how's the perspective of a child that is growing in this kind of oppressive environment. Okay, thank you everyone. I hope you can see my video, and yeah, thank you.